Okay, so the first lesson of this new unit is dealing with vertical, supplementary, and complementary angles. So this unit deals a lot with angles and triangles. So a lot of these first vocabulary words you should know already from previous math years. So the first one would be vertical angles. Vertical angles are equal. If we have two intersecting lines, then the angles opposite are vertical angles. So we could say angle A and angle B are equal or congruent. These here, I'll call them C and D. These are also vertical angles. So angle C and angle D are also equal or congruent. The next would be supplementary angles. So hopefully remember this one as well. Supplementary angles are two angles that form a linear pair and they add up to 180. So in this example, we could say the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B equals 180 degrees. So supplementary angles add to 180. And then finally, complementary angles. Complementary angles add to 90 degrees. So in this example, we could say the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B, those together will add up to 90 degrees. Okay. So another kind of property maybe that you might know already is that angles that go around a point, so all these angles here that go around a point would add up to 360 degrees. So if we want to find the measure of angle K, well, we could say, all right, 147 plus 133 plus, I'll call this X, that has to equal 360 degrees. And then we'll just go ahead and you can use your calculator or, if you want to do it in your head. So that's 280 plus X equals 360. Subtract 280, and we get X equals 80 degrees. So this angle right here would need to be 80 degrees. That will go ahead and make all those angles around the point add up to 360. Okay. So example 2, it's asking us to find the measure of angle DCE. So whatever they want us to find, I'm going to go ahead and label that as X. So the box right here, that means that that is a 90 degree angle. So we can go ahead and label that 90 degrees. Now if we notice, we have a straight line right here. So since we have a straight line, the angles on the straight line, those three angles, together will add up to 180 degrees. So we could set up an algebraic equation, I should say. We could say 72 degrees plus 90 degrees plus X equals 180. And then solve that from here. So we have 162 plus X equals 180. Subtract 162 from both sides. And we get X equals 18 degrees. So the missing angle DCE, is 18 degrees. Okay, so example 3. It's just basically asking us to find the missing angle and then give a reason for the calculations. So the first one, if we're looking at that, I would think that the reason for that would be that we have some supplementary angles here. Those two angles, 144 and A, together have to add up to 180. Subtract 144, and A equals 36 degrees. So my reason would be supplementary angles. Okay. In our next one, again, we have three angles. They all are on a line. So angles on a line, angles that form a line, add to 180. So I'll write that there. We wouldn't actually say that they're supplementary because we have more going on, but we could say angles on a line add to 180 degrees. Then we could set up an equation. 97 plus b plus 36 equals 180. Combine like terms, so we could do 97 plus 36, and that's 133. Subtract 133 from both sides, and that gives us 47. Okay. So 3. So again, I'm seeing a line. AB is a full line. I'm also seeing a box here, which means this is 90 degrees. That means that this side here has to be 90 degrees. So 40 plus 36 plus C altogether, those three angles would have to add to 90. Okay, we have 76 plus C equals 90. And that would give us C equals 14 degrees. Okay, moving on to the next one. Again, I'm seeing a straight line right here. So I know those three angles all together, this angle, and this angle, would have to add to 180 degrees. Angles that form a straight line add to 180. And then we'll solve this out. We can combine like terms. 2d plus 82 equals 180. We can go ahead and subtract 82 from both sides and then divide by 2. So if we subtract 82, that's 98. And then divide both sides by 2. We get 49 degrees. So D is 49. And then the last one. So it looks like we have a point here, and they give us all the angles, whether it's a variable or an actual angle measurement, which means we could just go ahead and add up all these angles around this point and set it to 360 degrees. We have 91 plus 91 plus 91 plus G plus G plus G, and that's going to equal 360. 91 plus 91 plus 91 is 273. G plus G plus G is 3G. Subtract 273 from both sides. That's 87. And then divide both sides by 3. And that would give us 29. Okay, so G would be 29 degrees. Okay, example 4. So they tell us ABC is a right triangle. They tell us DBC is X, which expression could represent the measure of ABD? And 4 choices there. So if you're having trouble and you're not sure which one it would be, maybe like make X a number. So if X was 20, what would ABD be? Well, this whole angle is 90. So that means that this would be 70. And how are we getting that? We're doing 90 minus 20. Okay, let's go back now to just the variables. If we want to get this angle here, it's going to be 90 minus whatever this angle is, and we'll just call it X. So it would be choice 2. Okay. Gonna skip around a little bit. So let's look at 2. So there's kind of a couple of ways to think about this. We want to use some of the angles we learned up here, or that you should remember from previous years. Again, there could be multiple ways to do this. So what I'm seeing first is, I'd like to see if I have any vertical angles. And to me, this angle and this angle, we have 2 intersecting lines. So these two intersecting lines, which means we have vertical angles right here. I could then label this angle up here as 4x minus 10 because vertical angles are equal. Now at this point, I have a straight line. And the straight line angles on a line would add up to 180 degrees. Or another way I can look at this is if this is 90, then this over here has to be 90 degrees. So if I want to try to simplify this a little bit and do the least work possible, this angle and this angle have to add up to 90 degrees. X plus 4x minus 10 equals 90 degrees. 5x minus 10 equals 90. 5x equals 100. X equals 20. And again, there were a couple of ways to tackle this, but any way you do it, you should get 20. So now we'll take a look at question 3. So for this one, we again want to look for the same stuff. We want to look for vertical angles. We want to look for angles that form a straight line that we could add to 180. So as I'm looking at this, and again, there's a couple of ways to go about it, but kind of what I'm seeing first is that these two lines are intersecting, which means then that this angle and this angle are vertical angles, which means that they are equal. So vertical angles are equal. So I'm going to go ahead and instead label, I'm going to label the y as 3x plus 6. So I'm going to say this is 3x plus 6. The next thing I'm noticing is that I have a straight line right here, and the angles on the straight line, those three angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. So that's kind of the goal, is to try to get an equation that you can solve. So at this point I can solve x minus 10 plus 3x plus 6 plus x minus 11 and set that equal to 180. Combine like terms. Those three combine to give us 5x, negative 10, 6, and negative 11 combine for negative 15, and that equals 180. Add 15 to both sides. Divide both sides by 5. And we get x equals 39. So that's solving for x, but we also need to solve for y. But that should be fairly simple now that we know that we found out earlier that y and 3x plus 6 were the same thing. So I could say 3 times 39 plus 6 equals y. Okay, and then just solve that out. 3 times 39 is 117, plus 6 is 123. So y is 123 degrees. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a look at 5. So for 5, same deal. We want to use some vertical angles. We want to use angles that form a linear pair. And we're looking to solve for two variables, x and y. What I'm seeing is these two intersecting lines form vertical angles. This is a vertical angle, this is a vertical angle. So really, this whole thing right here, this whole thing is 68 degrees. And now I have an equation that I can solve. I could say 4x minus 2 plus 30 equals 68. So 4x plus 28 equals 68. 4x equals 40. X equals 10. So we solve for x. Now we need to solve for y. So for y, I'm noticing a straight line right here, which means these two angles together have to add up to 180 degrees. They're actually supplementary. I could just do 180 minus 68, and that's 112. So y is going to be 112 degrees. All right. Okay, so I think we'll stop there. So that's kind of what was today's lesson, what I was going to teach you if I was there in class. Just really using vertical angles, supplementary, complementary to solve for angle pairs. We'll be doing a lot more of this as the units go on, but this is as the unit goes on. But this is a good kind of introductory lesson. Okay, you still have homework tonight, so you still have homework 4-1, and that will be due tomorrow. All right, so I'll see everyone tomorrow, or Wednesday, I would guess, because you guys are off tomorrow, so it would be Wednesday. All right, see everyone Wednesday.